Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Zach Brellen. Joining me again is Danylboone. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Good to see you guys.
So, Locke is out this week. It is his birthday. Wish him well in the comments below. He's kind of doing family stuff or whatever he wants to do that's not this, and that's great. So, but Daniel, you've been gone for a little while. If you want to talk about that a little bit, kind of fill us in what you've been up to.
Yeah, so I had to make the difficult decision to focus on school for the rest of the semester, which has been really challenging. I'm sure people can relate, even if they're not in school right now, just how COVID is affecting our year so far. Um, but yeah, so took a step back from the game and let somebody else kind of like log into my account at least to
Oh, that's what
um,
you did?
yeah, to at least get the daily logins, somebody I
Yeah, yeah.
trusted. So, so that was nice, like just being able to get that kind of a break, But
Mhm.
so I think it was like about a month or so. It was definitely a few weeks at least.
Yeah, it was
So,
it was a while. I mean, it was. I mean, yeah. Keep talking. I can tell you how many though.
so now that we're approaching like the end of the semester, like this is literally like the last week. I started playing casually again like a week or two ago. Um, and it was basically on the last half of the class matches, CM2.
Mhm.
So it's been like a gradual process coming back, but yeah, definitely missed everybody from the War of the Visions Twitch community, from like all of our separate discords, like even like the World Chat Discord.
Not the world
So
chat though. The world chat's kind of a weird place in
but
game.
like even there, they're like, "Hey, it's Danylboone," and I'm like, "Dude!" Like people, it's so weird being like recognized, So
Right.
yeah, it's a cool feeling being back.
Yeah, like I had a similar moment in the community voting Discord, like when they were doing the FFB versus Wattfee or whatever. I was typing something and someone just like chimed in like, "Oh, by the way, love the content or whatever." Blah blah. Like, oh, sick, cool,
Nice,
thanks.
yeah.
um, Yeah, so I just looked. It was five podcasts, and we skipped a week because of like Thanksgiving and stuff. There's just too much going on. We couldn't get anything out. So it looks like 5 or 6 weeks or so was about the length.
I
The
kind of
last
gave
time
up.
you appeared.
I gave up on the last tower, like halfway through or something like that.
Hmm.
Like I don't have the tide ring, which is kind of annoying, but
It's. I mean,
like I feel like
it's
I'm gonna
it's
miss it.
good. I don't think it's anything like you need though.
Yeah, I was thinking more for the res than the stats, but
Sure,
resistances,
sure. Yeah.
But
Oh, that's true. Cause it's like what 20 water or 20 fire, 15 water, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, I missed out on getting the skull like a challenge board, which is kind of annoying. So he's definitely on the back burner for the next 6 months or whatever. Which I think he's underrated. Hopefully you guys appreciate him or
Yeah,
start to.
I mean CM2, the one of the top 10 or top 15 guys was using it. Wasn't it? Who was it again? It was.
Leo's Hante. Shout out to him, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's not that. Yep, yeah, he was using what Skull,
Frederica.
Frederica, and who was the other one?
I can't remember.
Kilfe?
I only fought him once.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know if it was Kilfei. But yeah. So I I have more to talk about him a little bit later. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah. So Skull is awesome, and yeah, works well with lightning units. So um, yeah, maybe look into it.
That's good. No, I like him a lot too. I think his passives are a little weird. Like I'm like I want all the damage, but I'm like I should probably put Speedcast on, and then like maybe you can make him a weird like pseudo tank, but his resistances aren't like that high or that crazy, and he doesn't have the like physical shield that Kilfe has. So I think some people were thinking because he's a staff mage, he can be kind of a like off like bruisery tank. I'm like, not really. But but having the quicken, and I also think if you ever get to live the dream of doing Skull LB into Frederica Barrage, like you're gonna have a great day. Like it's it's a 2 or 3 hit LB AOE, and then she gets to follow up and just murder everything. But speaking of units, how do you feel about the winter units? Because I know you got a little impulsive and, and went for one of them.
Nice transition there.
All right.
Yeah, so God, I was so resolved like all of Wednesday and like even like the beginning of the week, like leading up to Wednesday, like after the initial reveal and stuff.
Right.
Like I was going back and forth like in the beginning, and I was like, eventually I figured I would just skip the whole holiday event, pulling
That's
for
my
like the
goal.
vision cards.
We're
Yeah,
making
yeah.
it so far.
Right. So, and then I started thinking about potential ways to use Christmas Moschery or Winter Moschery, because that's who I would want to get if I did end up like going for one of the holiday things.
Right.
So spoiler alert, I did. Obviously, yeah, because you and I were talking about it. And I was like, oh, I got to. So honestly, like I think I'm gonna have to go for Luartha, and being a fire, we're expecting her to stay the same element as JP, right? So being a fire ranged unit, I just think that she's going to really synergize well with Christmas Mastery. So um,
I know. Could you
especially
imagine if they changed the element on a character like from the start?
yes,
Like
but
what?
so like and like not to mention that, but like I also want to go for Lardo or whatever they're going to change his name to.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's all these like fire units coming up, and I'm like, oh man. And the fact that Winter Mastery has like her mastery ability, which is like the party fire buff. um I don't know, I just I bit the bullet, and I just kind of spontaneously went for her towards the end of Wednesday. And that's when I was talking with you about it. um
I mean, you're my fellow Rain aficionado too, so I mean, it doesn't
right.
hurt to have him in the fire repertoire as well.
Yeah. And like kind of the same day, like I maxed out Ifrit, the vision card. So like I'm running with this maxed out like attack up, fire attack up vision card now, and it's all new for me, so it's been
Okay,
kind of
so is
fun.
it like equip Ifrit on her or something, and then do what's the card? Lamia Queen in the party just for the extra fire attack?
That's available, and yeah, that'd be sick. But realistically, like I haven't really used her in PvP yet. Although today I saw an arena around like when I was at like 750 when I started today. There was somebody who had like a maxed out Winter Mastery already. I was like blown away. Like it's wait, today's Friday. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 days is enough to apparently max a new unit, which I thought was crazy.
Skip tickets are a hell of a drug also now because
Yeah.
they did give you the resonance. So I just get the. Although I don't think it works with the equipment or the resonance pack, like the double training pack. Because when I did it to show somebody that like they were saying it didn't come out, I'm like, of course the update came out, like it's right here. So I took screenshots. I skipped 10 times. I got 10 resonance, even though I had the double or the training pack. A little annoying, but I get it. It's kind of like when you take a companion unit and you skip like with a JP card, you don't get the JP. So I guess that makes sense. But um, yeah, I
But
so far am resisting. I did cave on Demon Wall though. So it was getting close to it. I was looking at it. I'm like, listen, if I want to
yeah,
actually like push Rosa to the maximum, I'm like, I actually got it for Rosa because of the 30% attack on the card. And I mean, it's going to be a good card because I also have Kane, so like I'll use it on him, of course. But the kind of push over the edge was being able to make Rosa the monster that she is. She's putting in some serious work for me, especially for this tournament too. So it's been
I'm
fun.
I'm I'm I've been very impressed with your account so far. Your account of her
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
prowess.
I mean, I guess my count's all right too, but
Obviously, you have a very respectable account as well.
yeah, no, she's been great. I haven't used her with the Elven Bow yet though. I'm kind of scared because like I feel like I'm leaning on the Ice Bow from Curry like a little too much because it's got the 15 ice attack.
Yeah, that's really unexpected, but also like pretty creative, honestly.
Yeah, I mean it's cool because like the bow, what was it, the rune bow is not great stats wise, and it has 15 missile attack. And normally you don't want to use TMR weapons because there's significantly less damage when you don't have those multipliers. But the fact that it has just 15 ice attack, it's like, oh, perfect for Rosa. Like obviously it's for Curry, but just happens
Right.
to work out for her as well.
Rosa
Um,
for Queen of was that?
yeah, right. But if I ever use the Elven Bow, I use like Moschery TMR on her or something. As we do to 'cause she just has giant magic stats, so she still does decent damage, but obviously it's a lot less when you don't have the 15 ice. But anyway, talked about her a lot last week. So you're pretty excited for Winter Moschery. Let's before we continue gushing about her because she's obviously, I think she's pretty obviously the better unit overall. Easier to make good might be the better way to say it as well. But how do you feel about Ramada? and maybe her place in live PvP. Obviously, she's going to be good in raids if there's ever like a water weak one, because if you have the Exorcist card, she gets a triple hit chain. Soldiers do a lot of damage anyway, so like I can see her just being useful in content, but in terms of live PvP, I don't know yet.
Yeah, so that's definitely a thought-provoking conversation. I think that I haven't really had the chance to really talk about. It's mostly just been like an internal monologue about like the difference between the units.
Mm-hmm.
But like we've always seen that like female soldiers have worked better than the male soldiers we have access to because of like the female only TMRs. Like the like Veneris, for
Oh,
instance.
okay. Yep.
Um, like just being able to have that extra edge. So I think she has that going for her. Um, like obviously, like Drain Force is one of the first things. Like
Of
maybe
course.
hopefully I'm not the only one that thinks that. Like, and when we see a main job soldier, we're like, oh, Drain Force and Hazard Break. Um, I don't know if she really has the chance to shine right now, but I know we're expecting water units in the future. It's like Titus. Um, Other ones I don't really pay attention to. I don't know, but
Well, also, I think the main thing to mention with her too is while she underperformed in JP, she does have the global buff of having that water party ability, so she
yeah,
has extra HP, which goes into her Drain Force. And
yeah,
then
and I think
also she has the water attack, which is like having slash attack for her hazards. So
yeah,
her output may be a lot higher, and she's obviously slightly more survivable.
yeah, and it's really cool that she has. Like I didn't know that she had the ninja sub job, for instance, when we learned about these Christmas units all that time ago. So she has like pretty decent agility. Um,
3 damage
uh,
types. I'm sorry, 2 damage types. So
yeah. So like yeah, having that monk sub job is going to help for at least like at the very least the HP up support to help with her drain forces if necessary.
I was thinking Mashu when I said 3 because she has the pierce, slash,
Yeah.
and missile. But Ramada has 2. That's right. I don't know why I thought a ninja star and a soldier blade didn't do slash, but
And so like and it's weird, like you never know how like some units can just like kind of come out of the backdrop of this roster of characters, right? For her ninja sub job, she has like dream within a dream. Like who
Mhm.
knows if there's going to be like a water slash
Well, it's true. She has a triple
thing.
attack without exorcists. Okay.
Yeah. So and like those kind of things, like those, they don't really stand out maybe from like a live PvP standpoint because like you don't really always, or if ever, get the chance to build stacks unless you're playing freaking double gunner team. But yeah. So I think that's still something that speaks to the usefulness of the unit, though.
hmm I also think like Monk maybe a little slept on her as well because she can go store and she's already got the self-sacrifice for a giant attack steroid. She's then if you stack on top of that the store, which it's only off base attack, so it doesn't like compound with the passive, but it's still a lot of damage. And then
And
like just murder people with strike. Like what strike defense are they gonna have? A mithril armor maxed? I don't think so.
right.
So
And like
like no one's using the Marlboro card or whatever it is or that's strike attack. I actually don't know if there's a strike resist card because like that cycle, right? It's there's Behemoth that gives pierce resist. There's
yeah,
Iron Giant that gives slash resist. There's the I guess cleansing the mind isn't one of the espers, but then Marlboro is instead of strike resist, it's strike attack. So I
yeah, I
actually
can't
don't know if there's
remember.
a strike resist card. But regardless, people aren't going to be using it on average. So you can kind of sneak in damage with that sub job on Monk because like I said, you get use out of the store regardless of your job, and then you
Like
get to do surprise
people are doing
terror
that with
slash.
Cecil.
Yeah, I Falcon punched somebody for 5.2k. I killed a kill fade with it. It was
That's awesome.
ridiculous. And it's like walked up the side, just pop.
But yeah, so and like last but not least, like I don't know, I feel like we're spending more time in Ramada now. But like
All right.
her LB like should not be underestimated. It's another slash resist decrease like Kotetsu,
Okay.
and does crazy damage and has
That's
decent range. So I mean, it has a pretty prohibitive 63 AP cost, but
oh my god.
yeah,
I actually
but
can't think
that's
of anything
crazy.
else that costs that much. Holy, and I thought Rose's LB costs a lot at 58. Holy moly. Which, by the way, that's got me so many times. I'm like, it heals. I'm gonna gain AP, and then I forget it costs so much AP. There was a game where I healed. I'm like, sweet, I'm all ready for my next turn. And I was out of AP. Like I couldn't even do one of my arrows. So I was like, no. Oh man, pay attention to that. All LBs are AP based. But yeah, no. So I think I think the reason we're spending time on her is kind of my point, which is there's some hidden sort of value in that unit. So like if someone pulled her on the like say 3 step up and they were disappointed, like maybe don't be disappointed, just give it a shot. Kind of play around with her.
Yeah, I saw
Most importantly, think of that passive, right?
I saw Orange J. I think he ended up pulling Ramada instead of Mashri, and he's like, well, I don't know. I think I saw like a YouTube video. He's like, well, I guess I'm a Ramada main now. I was like, good for you.
Right. Just rolling with the punches, right?
Go with it.
Something to be said though. I don't know Ramada what she gets for her 120 jobs in JP, but if we get the 120 jobs in the same form that JP does, or JP has, Mashari's upgrades are pretty sizable. I don't know. Have you looked at those at all?
You know, I was still kind of just like coming back to the game, like during all this all this fuss about the X jobs and stuff. But I think I was more excited to learn about these units, these like original cast of characters that have been slept on forever, like Rob and Elder. I know like I was talking about this to you privately before, but I don't know. It was too soon for me to go into like the new units and like what their X jobs are going to be. It's like I'll leave that for like closer to Christmas as like a nice little like, hey, that you haven't learned everything about this unit yet.
Okay, so do you want to know? Do you want me to not say anything then?
No, sure. Let's talk about it for the sake of the conversation.
Okay, so I'll start with Ramada just because I haven't seen hers yet either, so this will be the first time for me. Obviously she gets some upgraded stuff. She gets better stats, agility, all that stuff gets upgraded. But the skill upgrades, excuse me, remember it's only for her main job. The first one is to her hazard form. It's still consume 10% HP, still increase attack by 50%, but it also nullifies paralyze, stop, and doom, which is interesting.
Whoa!
So
what?
the stop obviously being the most impactful for us.
Yeah.
But paralyze could be relevant sometimes, and maybe even doom depending on how the meta goes. But then her own doom attack gets upgraded, and it now is a 210 multiplier instead of a 175, so significantly higher. And also has the doom chance. So hers isn't like too crazy, but I think that nullification is pretty cool. And then I believe she gets a new skill. Oh yeah. So here's the new skill. 180 mod, range 3 AoE of 1, consume HP of your own HP 15%, but with that 180 damage mod, you have a 25% chance to inflict stop. So that's pretty cool. That she gets like another status effect. So she can do doom, she can do stop. She obviously prevents those herself. Still has drain force and all those things built in. So those are some pretty cool and interesting things to have. But Mashari, this is where you're gonna get real excited if you haven't seen these yet. So
just one sec though. Like one thing that occurs to me about her upgraded hazard form is as a water unit. I think the first thing that comes to mind is Skull's LB, which I believe it paralyzes.
Yep.
So like having that kind of nullification against a unit that you're had a disadvantage to, I think is a little nice bonus. But yeah, paralyze is kind of
and Shitzelt's blade inflicts doom.
yeah. It's kinda, paralyze is definitely underrepresented, but yeah, I just wanted to get that out there.
If Cecil's popular enough, though, I mean, paralyzed could see more play. I mean, I got paralyzed by Cecil in PvP. It happens. So, but okay, so Mashri, I don't know what the buff is called. This is in Japanese, and the translation is not always accurate. The 42% attack buff in the main job, Dragonskin, right? Or is Dragonskin the move on? Oh, that's standard. Dragonskin, yep. Now, in addition to doing the 42% attack, you get 15 defense for 3 turns.
Whoa, nice.
Then her horizontal jump is upgraded to range 6.
What?
And it locks on.
Interesting.
So not only is it
Crazy.
a range 6, if they move, you move with them. You land on the correct spot.
But why?
I don't know. But why?
Cool.
Shout out to Talon Seto.
Apparently, like, this is the way now.
And her EX25 move is it looks like the jump speed is the same as like vertical, horizontal. So it's another jump. 185 mod, so it's like vertical jump. Or I'm sorry, it's like Dragon Dive. But it absorbs 30% of the damage dealt and decreases their defense by 25.
That is huge.
It's like a crush armor, and it's a range 4. It does have range height of 0, but I mean, it's like it's like a shorter range horizontal that absorbs and hits. And I don't know, I don't think that one locks on, but I
Does it?
could be wrong.
And I'm guessing it decreases defense before doing the damage that it
I
absorbs?
do believe so, yeah.
Dude, anything with like a prominent damaging absorb is just crazy. Like we've seen Kane, like part of his really impressive suite of skills is that blood lance, that like the piercing like drain.
I
Holy
forgot he
crap.
had it one game and I lost because of it.
Ah, I
I
know,
walked my
right?
like 1 HP Agrius up to him. I'm like, she's just gonna body block for this, so like my back line can do something. And he just goes, boom, heal to full, and then runs at me. I'm like, oh boy.
So and like that arena team that I was talking about that already had a maxed out Christmas Mastery, she had over 5,000 HP. So like she can get bulky with that like Viking lore or whatever. And
Oh, for sure.
so like being able to survive like a hit or two and be able to drain it back, that's got some staying power right there. I'm really impressed.
Looks like she has from her X or her EX board, it's an extra 200 HP, 2 agility, a little bit of luck, a little bit of dex, a little bit of attack. And then those abilities, obviously. So she's definitely looking like a crazy unit. Once we get those, again, if we get them in the same form, I don't know if we're going to be honest, just because the differences with like the fact we're getting party abilities that JP doesn't have, and we're getting other things they don't have, especially with our vision cards. I don't know if we're gonna get the same party abilities they do. It's gonna be really weird to see what happens during our anniversary.
Yeah.
If like
So
we're gonna trade and like JP's gonna gain what we have and we're gonna gain what JP has, and we're like even now, or how it's gonna work.
yeah, I'm interested to see like like I know a lot of people are kind of speculating about Christmas Venera. Like maybe she's coming next week or whatever. But like honestly, like I don't know. I'll put my opinion on the line, and I can be wrong next week or whatever. But like I don't think we're gonna see her until next Christmas. And like, what if we don't get these X upgrades until next Christmas
Ooh,
as
this could be
well?
fun. We could make a bet that I think she's gonna be here next week.
But what would we bet? Like I don't know, our reputations or credibility or
It
something.
would be like an energy pack or something.
Nice. But But yeah, I don't know, like just something about it. Like it seems like sticking with their release schedule, they have this like I don't know, very consistent. Like
Halloween.
what can we really rely on? That's
Halloween.
right. But so like they release units and vision cards and they have everything else going on with the schedule, but like I don't know. I just don't expect to see her next week. And like, so yeah, but like with the stuff that's happening now, it's around Christmas. So the Christmas units that have been out since last year, they're getting their, the upgrades and stuff. So yeah, who knows when we see these upgrades come in?
Yeah, so I think the reason I think that Venera is coming is because of Halloween and the fact we got everything they got. They could have definitely like not given us the vision card, right? Exorcist was around that time. I think it was part of
Yeah.
Halloween, so they could have not done that because we aren't getting the upgrade yet. They were willing to give it to us pre-upgrade, so we could just get Venera and she just stops at 99 until we get whatever. And the other thing is they reran the Christmas units during summer or during like some like intermediate time.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so they had a rerun already for them in JP, so like they could
That's
easily just
cool.
do that for Venera for us to get the shards once anniversary comes out. So
Yeah,
like I
that's
think that
interesting.
there's something to be said. However, JP doesn't have the winter holiday party card, right? So we got a vision card that they didn't get. So maybe that's instead of Venera. So that's the only thing I could see being like kind of the argument against what I'm saying. Is the fact that they didn't get that. But maybe
That's
like they'll get that this week. We'll get Venera, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, we got bamboozled" or something. But
I was laughing just a little bit ago when you mentioned like the Halloween because poor Howlet, like he yeah, like we had this conversation. I think it was in the live PvP Discord, but it was about like Howlet being overshadowed by Halloween Leela. Like he was
well,
the
both of
he
them,
was the
right?
wind unit.
Like Ryu is just an Earth unit of him that's more survivable and still deals
Yeah.
buttloads of damage, and then yeah, Leela's the better wind unit. So it's yeah. I mean, obviously he's not a bad unit, but you can't really tell me that his toolkit matches up with Leela's toolkit in almost any situation. Like if you want to like make an argument about like, oh, but he's better on slash teams, so it's just like, yeah, and my fucking Curry's better on missile teams. What's your point? Like,
You know what I'm confused about? I'm confused that the Halloween Ryu got the Paladin sub job, and this goody two shoes Howlet character didn't get the Paladin
I
sub
don't think
job.
he's goody two shoes though. I think he's like a sort of a manipulative, like ladies' man type.
Oh, okay.
I'm
But yeah,
surprised. I'm surprised he's not a thief.
man, giving him the Paladin sub job, I think would definitely uh, obviously affect Howlet's survivability. But that's obviously yesterday's news.
His TMR kind of has like a paladin-esque effect, right? Like it has a one turn immoral spirit sort of, except you don't take damage rather than just not dying. So
Yeah, that makes
you can
sense.
make use of that. I think that actually be sort of leading us into the next topic here, which is the tournament that's been going on, the Lunarian Cup. That'd be an interesting TMR for tournaments. Like if you know your opponent, because we do registered rosters sometimes where you know what your opponent has, and then we have it where if they win a match, the 3 units they won with are locked, and you can't use them for the game two and potentially game three. So like if they only have physical characters left, you could bring Howlet TMR and be like, oh well, turn of immunity for whatever the
Yeah,
situation is, and then continue.
it's basically
It's pretty sweet.
a better, like, new and improved Sentinel as long as you're
Hmm.
fighting physical
Yeah,
characters.
exactly. It's used just like Sentinel. Yep. But yeah,
Quicken it.
I guess we'll transition into that. So the Lunarian Cup tournament, you kind of are watching from the outside. I know you weren't able to enter, which was sad because you were busy with
Yeah,
more important things. I understand.
you could say I'm spectating.
Oh boy, yes. Nice, nice seed for later. But yeah, tournament's going well. Thank you everybody who did join the server to participate in that. I know a couple people from my Twitch stream and maybe from the video from the podcast. I don't know.
Yeah,
No one
hell yeah,
mentioned
you
it in the
guys.
comments, but definitely from Twitch it was cool. We got like 2 or 3 people. It's been going well. But something I want to talk to you about is kind of the theme of the tournament, which was the with map choices. Uh, the tournament, I'll run through the rules again real quick. You register a roster of 7 up front, and once the tournament starts, those are the only 7 units you can use the whole time. Then, each game, obviously, you pick 3, and then if you win with those 3, they are locked. You can't use them anymore for the rest of the like against the same opponent for the rest of this round. You have to use your other 3. If you lose game 2, though, you can still obviously use the 3 you just used when you lost, or you can switch it the 4th unit, whatever you want to do. Then there is a limit of 1 ultra rare vision card per match. So whenever you're in the game, you can only have 1 UR vision card equipped. Obviously, you can change it between games. You don't have to like register a UR card, but or pick one for the whole round. But you can only use one at a time. Then there's a map pick and ban phase, which is kind of like the central theme of what we try to create the rule set for. Where forest is permanently banned. We've bitched about this on the podcast before, so but the map's just awful. The spawns are horrible. You're right next to each other. It's just whoever has higher agility AoE
I
fest.
I like it. I hate the Coliseum.
I've banned the Coliseum every round, but so spoilers to my opponents, but
Ooh,
yeah, right. And tomorrow's the last round of Swiss.
lucky
My thoughts are going away. So
the maps.
you get so when the matchups are put up, there's a left player and a right player. The left player gets to ban a map, so can't play on it. Right player also bans a map. Left player bans another map. Then the right player from the remaining, right now it's 4 maps, so you ban 3 and there's 4 to pick from, picks the map you play on. Then once that selection is made is when you build your team of 3 from your roster. So you get to kind of tailor make your team for the map, and there's a lot of interesting counterplay to like if you pick a map that really benefits like dragoons, and you think they're gonna value their dragoon team, you can like go to that map. Or rather the opposite, if it favors dragoons and their dragoons are locked, you can like go to that map and maybe I'm sorry, go to that map and screw over the rest of their other team because you have dragoons left. Like there's a lot of interesting play to that. What sort of units would you be looking to bring into an event like that if you were to have registered, and why? So because I think there's a couple different approaches people could take.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the vibrance like aspect of this nature that you're exploring with this tournament. Is like is not like the unit pick and ban, but like the map pick and ban.
Hmm.
This is the first time we've had the chance to explore that, and it's definitely a big part of the process for like the initial thought of like preparation going into a match, you know,
Hmm.
like you and I and probably others, we're used to um setting up practice matches. Obviously, you know, we stay in our game, especially when, you know, match PvP has sucked because of ranks or what, you know, like whatever. So uh yeah, it's what I don't know. I didn't really. I thought I had the chance to like not really think too much about it because
That's
I
fair.
missed it.
Yeah.
But with the roster that I have right now, like I had the chance to get Kane and Cecil. Well, obviously we all have Cecil, but
You
like
developed him. Yeah.
yeah, I'm really exploring more of a Pierce team. Like I have Glaciella, I have Kane. You know, like I finally uh like pulled the trigger on like maxing out Victoria. I have Victoria now, dude.
Oh,
Like
there you
she was all I have is this 600 shards for Frederica that I don't know. I don't like Frederica, but
go. Oh my gosh.
yeah. Oh god. But yeah. So it's really hard not to bring like a dragoon team or you know like a Pierce squad, because you know they're new. You know, like I'm still exploring these nuances of playing this kind of team. Um, and like for them because of their innate jumps like they don't really struggle in any of the maps I don't think. It's more
Right.
about like if like whether or not your opponent anticipates you picking whatever map, um
Hmm.
and like anticipates you bringing those pierce units like bringing like area resist, you know, Behemoth for the Pierce resist, and then like I don't know, like somebody has on Leona's Castle or Odin or something. Like you can build against the Pierce team pretty well, especially if you have the Espers that have Pierce resistance, which we never really paid attention to much, and now suddenly it's super relevant.
Right.
Um,
Like people might be respecting their golems now. Like.
Shiva, like crazy, right? Um, so I don't know, like it's basically what I'm saying is it's really hard not to bring like the Pierce units that I have.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know, something about like these tried and true units that you and I and like others have used this whole time. Like, um, I'm actually curious. Like, don't you have a like a list of like the units utilized like on teams?
Hmm. I do.
Like
Which
I'm
good
betting
point. I
Frederica.
meant to have that up actually for reference because it's public on the Discord. So like I'm not saying anything that people don't already know.
Yeah, I'm betting the popular units are still the same as they've been. You know, um, like Frederica for range, Agrius for obviously tanking, Warrior of Light. I don't know. I don't have Warrior of Light still, obviously, but like my strategy would basically, as it's always been, like when we've had the chance to, is like study my opponents and react
Hmm.
appropriately like before registration ended, you know, and obviously like going into each match like thinking about it, you know, and
Yeah.
building that
No,
strategy.
for sure. Yeah, I think let me just sort this real quick. Um yeah, units like Kilfei were like my first choice. Like I assumed that they were just going to be the tried and true jack of all trades sort of units. You can build them for super offense, defense, whatever you need. But then beyond that, uh actually not beyond that. And then I continued to look at other sort of hybrid units. I brought Gilgamesh because he can be damage or he can be support, mainly usually support. And I wanted a quicken source, but I didn't want like really squishy people, so he just kind of fit the bill there. Halloween Leela because she's insane and fits in. You can put her anywhere just because she has full life and is really hard, really sticky, hard to get off the field. You can run her evade, which there's actually an evade build out there that's working in only having one URVC. It's not necessarily 100% all the time, but it's still enough to win games like on 40%. Then I brought Rosa because she's new and fun. And I'm also obviously bringing Agrius because she's busted. So like I have that ice team that I've used actually in I think every round now. And
Pretty cool.
done well with. It's pretty fun. Like hitting somebody with a ice crystal arrow and then a kotetsu feels pretty good. Um, then the last two units were the ones where I really wanted to use them, but I'm not super experienced. The first is Ryu, the Halloween Ryu. I've used him quite a bit, but typically when I use him, I try to use him with a quicken user so he can do the 1-2 punch of like Drain Evo and then into just like one shot people. But I wanted to also, some of that requires UR vision cards to like really support that either one shot or whatever. But because he does have such high damage anyway, the MR magic card was good enough. He's still doing really high damage. I damage cap to Frederica. Like while I think I'd feel a lot more secure with more UR vision cards, it's not totally necessary. And then the other unit though that I am sort of, I'm not regretting bringing, but like I am just not good with the character yet, and I don't really. I probably would have been safer bringing someone else, but I want to take a couple risks for this tournament. Is Ruin Stern. So I just don't have a lot of experience playing evade teams. I can't build the full evade setup here anyway. And although he does have really high evade with himself, and I have Leela, and I did play evade in round 3, I don't understand his like flow. So he has 3 main like key TP abilities, being Revitalize to get his AP going, uh, the Illusion to get evasion up, and then his Roar of Ruin. And like knowing when to do each of those to not only have the AP to press your attack once you are engaged, but also to have buffs to survive while approaching, and also to have enough damage to kill them in hopefully one shot, or at least set them up to be killed in the second shot, or by Ryrie or whoever else on the team, excuse me. So I have lost quite a bit with him, but I'm at least learning. But it is frustrating not having that experience behind me.
Yeah, honestly, based off like I'm familiar with your experience with the evade. I am surprised that you picked Runestern because like obviously being privy to your thought process beforehand. Um, yeah, I wasn't really expecting you to go the evade route. Um, rather like prepare to fight against it, you know. But like honestly, like what I was thinking about, it's like I don't know, live PvP is like the battlegrounds where like we go to really learn about units and their interactions together.
Right.
Maybe I'm in saying that like people can go to arena and like refresh like their, 5 orbs or whatever if they want to, but like you're still running on autopilot, man. Like you don't, I don't know. I don't really think you get really an implicit or intrinsic like understanding
No,
of
for sure not.
these units. Um, so like
Arena is not PvP. Hashtag
Like, I didn't wanna say it.
it.
Yeah. Like, I was hesitant to say it, but I'm honestly glad that you have this process to go through. Like, it's I know I say vibrant a lot, but, like, it really keeps, like, things interesting, like, when you're making mistakes, like, that's what we do as humans, like, we learn from our mistakes. So, I don't know, it was just, it's really cool hearing you talk about, like, not winning all the time, with a unit that maybe you're not as familiar with.
Yeah, it's very hard.
And bringing that perspective into like a tournament is like even more compelling, to hear about.
Yeah, I guess specifically with him touching on the map stuff we were talking about earlier too. I got really screwed against Irish on the graveyard map because I was controlling the center of the map, but because of the way, so Hazard Crusher has a stupid range, it has a stupid AoE height, but it does only have a range height of 1. It's not like range 2 AoE 1, it's the opposite. So you can only aim 1 below. I didn't realize that the center of the map was actually a height 2. I thought it was a height 1, and then you could go up to like the side or whatever and then back down. But the ledge from the ground to like the actual, if you're not going through the center and you're just walking along the edge of the walls, it's actually height 2. So I couldn't hit him with anybody behind there, and it was really tough to get in there because he also had a Killfay. He just happened to pick Killfay the match that I had Brun Stern, and it was really difficult. And choices like that have not made it easy to learn the unit when my opponent is playing properly around the map. So there's so many things to think about with this tournament. It's been pretty great. I think a lot of people are going to learn a lot about their units themselves and just kind of habits that they may need to break or whatever, like based on the decisions they make in this tournament. Like I know I am already, so uh and also just like learn more about team building because of the VC limitations. Like I went into thinking I can just use Stern as a bruiser for sure. And I looked at my cards, I'm like, actually, what would I even use if I want to make him like bruisery? alongside say Agrius and Gilgamesh or something, and it's been tough.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what I'm looking forward to more than anything, honestly, is like a lot of us. I say us, but like a lot of the people, the competitors in this tournament have more than one tournament under their belt already. So I'm really interested in learning about the people new to the circuit, like their experience. So
I'm
for
hoping
anybody
they don't get
watching,
pushed away too much. I
I
hope
know,
that
right? Well,
there's no
see,
discouragement if you lose. Like it happens. Like
yeah,
we're all losing. So
that's a big part of that, and like I just wish that we had the chance to really um, like get um, that perspective. So like if any of you guys are watching and that happens to be you, like let us know because yeah, it's you are super important to everything that we're doing.
also, speaking of perspectives, I got to live the perspective of a filthy gunner user, and I reflexed Irish 3 times in a row.
You rat bastard.
Every time too, it would have been game over. Like Rosa was just like, he's like Kotetsu, and she's like, nah, and then he would have been able to follow up to kill. Next time it was Ildira, big LB, and he was gonna follow up with Cecil, reflex, and
Man,
then it
I
was
wish
another Kotetsu, reflex. It's like,
I
oh my
wish
god!
I
And
wish I
then
could just sorry.
I would say, and then to finish it off at the end of the game, or at the end of the third match when we did a rematch, I was doing the evade team. He missed on an 82 with Cecil.
I wish I was more of a meme lord and I could just replace my screen with like a GIF of like the Matrix of where Trinity's being like, I've never seen anybody move that fast.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
man.
man, triggering.
Yeah, like I felt bad. Like I was typing like, "Oh my god," and he's like, "Bullshit." But like it happened. Like, do you know how many times that's happened to me in tournaments? 4 times in a row against Red Knight, like in practice games and everything. Like it happens, and whether or not it's the game being coded poorly, or if it's just we get a lot of these, what 0.05 whatever percent chance, 3 in a row, whatever, it's part of the game, and I got to benefit for once. It didn't feel good, but I mean, it won me the game. But anyway, perspective. So you were also just mentioning something about, well, I said learning a lot about team building, and you mentioned like new people learning a lot from this tournament. Something I know you had talked about with me previously is team building in general for live PvP. Something I sent to you recently in one of our Discord messages was a statement, something along the lines of, "It's really exciting because there's a lot of unit variety now. It's also really frustrating because there's a lot of unit variety now
I do remember this.
when
Yeah.
when it comes to team building, because like you can't plan for everything anymore. Like it used to be, you could take a team like we did in previous tournaments of like, or you did specifically, Killfay, Rain, and Grace, and like people couldn't do anything about it because you just had bruisery solutions to most problems. Yeah, there were some outliers, of course, or like me bringing not that Victor or Miranda Rain was really a super heavy meta team, but like that team carried me and then eventually Locke for a long time, both in live PvP and in like the normal match battle and in tournaments. Like there were these teams and kind of like bringing Agrius and winning everything sort of thing, but you can't do that anymore. And yeah, see your thoughts about it
And in the framework of like the tournament or just like kind of like
in
in
general.
general. Yeah. That's definitely something that has been kind of brought to the forefront of my kind of experience with the game, like coming back is just like the plethora, like what are the odds of coming up against a favorable matchup with like whatever team you're bringing, like are lower now than like ever before, right?
Right.
Like there's like I don't know. There's part of the meta of like bringing the most popular recent unit and like whatever suffices for power creep right now. Like obviously we're gonna see Kane or Glacial or any of the newer units, but yeah, like anticipating and building against that, it's definitely pretty hard.
Because
Obviously,
what if you bring Behemoth and you don't face a Pierce team?
you're like,
It's
well, I
like,
don't know.
well, this card's
That's
great, 5% agility. Let's go. Like,
like for me, like part of like I've spoken in the past about like what to anticipate and the kind of sacrifices to make beforehand in order to give yourself like the best chance at succeeding later. Like when you recognize that missile teams are going to be like your hardest opponents, like you just bring an anti-missile card or anti-missile gear or whatever into every matchup or whatever. But yeah, it's much harder to do that. um, so I mean, honestly, I kind of dig it at the same time
right,
because
right. It's fun, exciting. You have a chance of being that guy who they built for missile, and you're like, I'm
yeah.
Pierce, and you're gonna
But
die. Like,
honestly, it occurs to me like at this moment, like the CM2 is like a microcosm of that environment. Like nobody, as far as I know, had was undefeated, right? Like the entire time, and then
right,
it's because of like this variety, right? Like no one team is going to like dominate the way like my team almost did the first CM. So I don't know. I think that's like good overall. Like wherever we're at on the spectrum of live PvP, like I don't think we deserve to win all the time. Um,
right,
uh,
right.
Obviously practice makes perfect, and we get an advantage because of the work we put into it. But it's still that rock paper scissors aspect to the game that keeps things interesting. I don't know. I feel like I just rambled and didn't really answer the question.
I mean, the thoughts are fine, and this is what the podcast is.
Right.
It is a display of ideas, and we try to surmise a point from them. But yeah, no, I have similar feelings of. I mean, I guess I already said that, where it's like frustrating and exciting all at the same time,
Yeah, I feel
and
that.
and it's weird because it creates another duality for me, which is I want to make balanced teams, like I always have. I've always been a fan of doing defensive leaning balanced teams that have at least like one physical damage, at least one magic, and then like spatter in hybrids in between for the third unit, healer, whatever it is. So like Agrius, Kilfei, Little Leela was a perfect example. It was like I had my physical DPS, it wasn't that high, but I had it. And then I had the Kilfei and Leela for magic, but I also had heals on like two of them. I had status effects, like I had all sorts of tools, but like that team isn't necessarily that insulated against, like, if Christmas Mashri shows up, like she might actually just destroy that team, because really long range to snipe the Leela can destroy the Agrius. Obviously Agrius can do things to prevent a lot of physical damage, but things can happen. But then it also makes me want to use really specialized teams, because if I catch people out who aren't using that specialty of defense, I could just trounce over them also. So it's fun and frustrating in every single way, no matter how I think about it. But I've definitely been trying to expand my horizons recently, as I mentioned, with just taking Runestern to a tournament against my better judgment. Just trying to evolve into this new world of where nothing is certain and you can't predict everything. I might start bringing Death Machine and Odin together more often,
Nice.
though.
Yeah, like I know people like some people like it's like their nature to like try to maximize their chances of success with using whatever combination of units and gear and stuff. But like I feel like it's kind of moving away from that and more into just like have fun figuring things out. Like good luck.
It's play good PvP, don't play like a
Yeah,
specific team
min
well.
maxing.
Right, yeah.
And like I don't know, like another thought I had is that like I wonder if we should be revisiting some of the themes that we did that we've done in earlier episodes. Like should like every 3 months or every 6 months, let's take a look again at like um, how things are working and how we want to approach like a quicken team or like a bruiser team or something.
Mhm.
um, and honestly, I think it's healthy for the game. So let's keep it coming.
Yeah, I've thought about doing that. If anybody cares enough to comment below, please do. If you would care if we did repeat topics from previous podcasts. Now, we're not going to go back through maybe how agility works, but the Quicken discussion part of that podcast, or I talk about team building for Quicken, especially with Shell now, or with maybe we can slide Skull in there, and the fact that Skull casts just as fast as Shell, if you think about it, at least for Quicken. He's just slower agility wise. Then maybe revisiting, like, what else have we talked about that's sort of very specific? I'm trying to remember.
I think initial positioning
Oh yeah, initial positioning. Yep.
and like affinity, like these things that can change depending on the circumstances of your team. Like if you have a team full of gunners with like you don't have to worry about jump or not gunners, dragoons. Like you don't have to worry about like elevation changes or whatever. It's going to affect your approach, right?
Right. Yeah, so yeah, we did team building, positioning. We talked about, I guess we haven't had that many like focus topics. They've been mixed in, but they weren't like dedicated. We actually have a lot of class match talk. is what it is. And then a spattering of other little topics. But yeah, I mean, I write stuff down all the time, so I would identify what we've talked about before. So if you guys don't mind, if you don't care, you just like listening to us ramble on about the same thing over and over, I mean, let us know. But otherwise, I do try to come up with at least something new each week. We'll typically talk about new units, and maybe if there's an impactful equipment being released or something, or a vision card, we'll talk about all that in the PvP context. But I wouldn't mind revisiting old topics like that.
Yeah, feedback is nice.
For sure. Obviously, we'll talk about CM3 more as it gets closer. But speaking of future updates, and then this is gonna be kind of the last main little topic here, and we'll wrap up. Is tucked at the very bottom recesses of the notices for a future update. Not yet, but future update. There will be, and they didn't even call it this, but we're gonna call it this: spectator mode entered into live PvP. Now, I don't know. Lazarus Ajin was useless, and he's never actually used it in Japan. So I don't know how it works yet, and he hasn't done it, even though he said he was going to. So shame on him. But I don't know exactly how it works. If you have to be in the lobby when the game starts, if you can just like look through a list of games and click one and join in and look at it. The way multi works, I feel like they can do it either way. I don't know if you can see their espers and their vision cards or everything they have equipped, or if you could just see what the other players can see. I don't know if your camera's moving freely. I have a lot of questions, but
Yeah,
I
important
think
questions.
in any capacity, as long as you can top down, I mean, I guess, or angled, it might actually be nice angled because you don't have to worry about fat fingering the wrong square or something. But
Free camera.
yeah, right. But if you have at least some control over the camera and can look at their units, like click on them and like see stats and stuff, like while watching them play, it is going to completely revolutionize how we can do tournaments. I might actually stop playing in tournaments for a little while. And I might just like stream them and commentate over them and stuff, and have
Yeah,
guests on with that. Like
it's been the dream for us, right?
yeah, right.
We care
So
more about doing that.
and the fact that it came, well, I don't know about more. It's just split
Yeah,
the
I was
time.
just reconsidering that actually.
Let's not get hasty, but especially not in CM3. No, actually, you can in CM3. Bad joke, missed because it's not true.
Tournaments.
Um, so yeah, it's man, it could be incredible, and the fact that we got it mentioned now when I don't think it came this early in JP. It might. I might have my updates mixed up. It's COVID time, so my brain can't remember the difference between 2 weeks and 2 months. But yeah, I am super excited. I hope this is news to some people. You can have a whole like brighten up to your day here if you care that much about it, like we do. But it was interesting because they said you can watch friends and like I think it just said like other players. So that implies that you can find other games. Now, whether that means you join other games through the like world chat or something, or if there's going to be like a lobby you can go search for games, you could like learn a lot from watching other people too. So I think even if it's implemented half as well as I would like it to be, it will still be a big boon for the community. And yeah, do you have any thoughts that I didn't cover about it? Or
The way you said that, like a half as well, it reminds me of like I like less than half of you, half as much as you deserve. Sorry, that's like all I could think of.
oh man,
But yeah, definitely like way back when I first started Twitch streaming, I've only been streaming less than a year. But like back in like May to June, like to the beginning of June, like was when I really realized how much I love um, commenting on PvP matches, and like I was like, holy, like I would love to do this. Like, send me all of your videos, and like I didn't really get much, but um, like that's like tournament started, and I was like, hey, I want to do this, but we never had the chance to. So like
Well, see, when you
this is
make the finals of most of the tournaments, it's hard for you to commentate the
yeah. Um,
finals.
but god damn it, I never actually considered that. But
Right?
like
Damn, I'm too good.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's like it's
Yeah.
really like a personal like thing for me. Like I would love to be able to do that. And I think it's um, I don't know. I can't wait. Basically,
Absolutely. Now, any other closing thoughts before we wrap up?
I did want to. We mentioned Leo's Hante like
Oh,
towards the
sure. Yep.
beginning, and like I wanted to kind of briefly go over or at least talk about maybe people's like recent experience with uh, just like live PvP like matches, you know, like not class matches or tournaments or anything, but just like the state of live PvP right now. And I keep mentioning Leo Sante because he had I think it was yesterday, the day before, I had like a random match against him, and he was running a full Final Fantasy IV team of Kane, Cecil, and Rosa. And you know, I'd been kind of winning a lot of matches with my Gilgamesh, Glaciella, and Kane setup. You know, like a double Pierce and Quicken on top of that. But I could see about halfway through the match that I was going to lose, and I just like conceded at that, like after like my Glaciella died or whatever. But like it's I wanted to mention that in particular because um, I think it's really easy to dismiss Cecil because of like he's squishy. Like he buffs, but like you lose hit points. But like
Doesn't buff
it's
himself is the important
yeah,
part. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that too. It's really interesting, like pairing that kind of dynamic with a healer and then like a hyper carry.
Hmm.
So like obviously, like hats off to that PvPer. I don't know if he's ever gonna see it, but if anybody knows him, yeah, hats off. And honestly, I'm kind of going back to what we were talking about with like the state of like the variety of matches and not really being able to account or anticipate for everything. Um, I'm really interested in hearing about other PvPers' experiences in live PvP right now. Like, are they struggling with team setups? Like, are there any like opponents? Like, are there any team comps that they're struggling with? I really want to hear about like the state of live PvP from like our listeners' perspectives. So, like, if you guys have anything that you want to share with, please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just kind of a call in general. The YouTube comment section has been far less active in the past couple podcasts. And I'd love to see more activity. I mean, I'm open to suggestions, criticisms, whatever. I think I put in all the posts, like, please give us feedback. And sort of, I mean, I try to get the production quality up. I've been trying to get better audio and making sure things are, and actually, ironically, I'm speaking right now. Hopefully it gets filtered out, but my AC kicked in. I didn't turn it off for the podcast. So we'll see how that sounds in the recording. So I apologize if the last like 3 minutes are bad, but um, yeah, no, anything you guys want to say, especially suggestions. I mean, we have a list of suggestions people have given. Some of them are not as doable as others just because of the way we record, but they are options for other forms of content in the future. But yeah, I'm open to lots of suggestions, and I would like to hear them. And then also, if there's like a super like specific team you'd like to like have us like theory craft or something, that'd be cool too. Like here's your 3 units, or these are my like three. I'm a free to play player. These are my 3 units that I have developed that I really love. How can I make them work together, kind of thing. Like that'd be cool. But I can't just make that up. Like I have to have somebody, give me the three to like really think about it. But yeah, that I think concludes us for the week. Thank you for joining me again, Daniel. I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing, but I hope it is. And I'm going to put you on the spot by saying
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I look forward to it. I think my break was definitely needed, not just for a step back, but kind of a recalibration of like how to manage things moving
Hmm.
forward. So I should be able to be back regularly.
All
At
right.
least I may be saying that at the end of the semester now, and like maybe things get turned up in the worst way next semester. But yeah, gonna do my best.
But as I say, please look forward to it. And we will see you next time.